Okay, today is the 6th of September and we are on the 55th chapter, Sotapatti-samyutta. Now we come to Sutta 55.21. That's on page 1808. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling among the Sakyans at Kapilavatthu in the Grodas Park. Then Mahanama, the Sakyan, approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him, sat down to one side and said, "Venerable Sir, this Kapilavatthu is rich and prosperous, populous, crowded, with congested thoroughfares. In the evening when I am entering Kapilavatthu after visiting the Blessed One, or the monks worthy of esteem, I come across a stray elephant, a stray horse, a stray chariot, a stray cart, a stray man. On that occasion, Venerable Sir, my mindfulness regarding the Blessed One becomes muddled. My mindfulness regarding the Dhamma becomes muddled. My mindfulness or recollection regarding the Sangha becomes muddled. The thought then occurs to me, if at this moment I should die, what would be my destination? What would be my future born?" Stop here for a moment. So here this Mahanama is a relative of the Buddha. And this Kapilavatthu is a place where all the Sakyans live. So he says in the evening, after he has gone to visit the Buddha or the monks during the Buddha's time, the monasteries were almost all forest monasteries out of the city. So after visiting the Buddha or the other monks, he comes back into the city, and then when he goes into the city, sometimes he meets a stray elephant, stray horse, stray chariot, stray cart, a stray man. These stray elephant and all that are those that are out of control sometimes, or the stray chariot or stray cart running very fast, out of control. So at that time, he's very excited because it might knock him and kill him. So he says at that time, his recollection of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha is not there. And if he should die suddenly, where would he be reborn? This sutta is quite important because nowadays a lot of people talk about the last thought moment that comes from Abhidhamma. They say at the moment when you are dying, if you can think of a good thought, it will bring you to a good rebirth. Or at that moment, you are excited, you're not thinking of a good thought, then you don't go off to a good rebirth. So let's see what the Buddha says. The Buddha said, "Don't be afraid, Mahanama. Don't be afraid, Mahanama. Your death will not be a bad one. Your demise will not be a bad one. If a person's mind has been fortified over a long time by faith, virtue, that means moral conduct, learning, generosity and wisdom. Right here, crows, vultures, hawks, dogs, jackals or various creatures eat his body consisting of form, composed of the four great elements, originating from mother and father, built up out of rice and gruel, subject to impermanence, to being worn and rubbed away, to breaking apart and dispersal. But his mind, which has been fortified over a long time by faith, virtue, learning, generosity and wisdom, that goes upwards, goes to distinction. Suppose, Mahanama, a man submerges a pot of ghee or a pot of oil in a deep pool of water and breaks it. All of its shards and fragments would sink downwards, but the ghee or oil there would rise upwards. So too, Mahanama, when a person's mind has been fortified over a long time by faith, virtue, learning, generosity and wisdom, right here crows, etc., may eat his body, but his mind, which has been fortified over a long time by faith, virtue, learning, generosity and wisdom, that goes upwards, goes to distinction. Don't be afraid, Mahanama. Don't be afraid, Mahanama. Your death will not be a bad one. Your demise will not be a bad one. That's the end of the sutta. So here the Buddha is saying, even though you may be attacked by various creatures and eaten, And even though you may feel fear at the last moment, but because you have practiced these few things, you have faith in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, you have moral conduct. Moral conduct normally refers to Aryan normal conduct, and basically it's the 7 precepts, the 3 body precepts and 4 verbal precepts. Learning here refers to much learning, Bahu Satcha or sometimes Bahu Sutta. This term in Chinese is called Tuo Wen, and it refers to much learning of the Buddha's Dhamma, much understanding of the Buddha's Dhamma. Bahu Satcha means much truths, Satcha means truths. So that means much knowledge of the truths, the Buddhist truths. Bahu Sutta means much hearing of the Dhamma, the Buddha's Dhamma. So here it just says learning, but it refers to these 2 words, having much knowledge of the Buddha's discourses, the Buddha's words. Generosity, form of giving to others, helping others, and wisdom. Because of these 5 qualities, the Buddha says, the mind will bring you up. Doesn't matter how your body dies, because your mind is an elevated mind. So generally, I like to say that when a person dies, even though he may be certified dead by the doctor, that is only clinical death. That is not death. That is not actual death in the Buddha's teachings. In the Buddha's teachings, the Buddha says when a person dies, 3 things stop. I think in the Majjhima Nikaya Sutta. What are these 3 things? One is vitality, vital energy. Second one is consciousness. Third one is body heat. When a person really dies, these 3 things leave him. So when these 3 things leave him, then you will only know by when you touch the body. When you touch the body is cold, and he definitely will not revive. If a corpse, the body is still warm, there's still a possibility that being is alive and may revive. So normally when a person dies, the 6 senses will shut off one by one, and the last to shut off is a consciousness. And the doctor says that the person is dead usually only because of 2 things, because the breath has stopped and the heart has stopped. And what happens is usually when he's pronounced dead by the doctor, usually he's still alive. The mind is still going, and the body is still warm, maybe for another 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours or sometimes even more. So that period between that clinical death and the actual death, the mind is like dreaming. The mind is thinking. And those thoughts cannot be controlled by anyone. And those thoughts depend on his karma. If that person is like the Buddha says, has faith, virtue, learning, generosity and wisdom, he always thinks of good things, things of wholesome things, things of elevated things, not low things. Doesn't have thoughts of greed, hatred and delusion. So if he has good thoughts, wholesome thoughts, that at the moment when he's dying, he's thinking of all these thoughts, so he'll go to a good rebirth. So this teaching that you have to control your last thought is not valid because you just cannot control your last thought. It depends on your karma. So like for example, a few years ago, one of our devotees in Penang, she told me that the mother died of cancer. So when the mother died, she was in pain because of the cancer. So when she was certified dead by the doctor, the face showed a lot of pain. But 1 hour later, the daughter told me that the mother's face changed entirely. She was smiling and looked very happy and peaceful, and entirely different. So you can see that person must have been a very good person. So if your heart, your mind is good, so Those last thoughts are good thoughts, and will bring you, because of your happy state of mind, bring you to a happy rebirth. So what I always like to say is that our everyday mind is very important. That is our natural frequency. So if our everyday mind, we always think of good things, wholesome things, we always have wholesome states of mind. So when we die, we will naturally go to our natural frequency. Our last thoughts will be your everyday thoughts, what you generally think of every day. So that's why it's, that everyday thoughts, if you want to have a good rebirth, you want to have a wholesome states of mind every day, that needs a lot of training, that needs a lot of practice, cultivation of the mind. So it takes years. So I always say it takes years to prepare for death. Sometimes some people, they never learn the Dhamma, they're not interested in the Dhamma, full of greed, hatred and delusion. And when they are dying, they come and tell us how to help their mother, how to help their father. Cannot help because the habitual tendency is already fixed. And the last moment, you cannot change that. It takes many years to change. So people don't understand. So sometimes worldly people, they see us interested in the spiritual path. They think we are very foolish, wasting our time, not enjoying all the worldly pleasures. Recently, we have one of our devotees, the sister-in-law, has never been interested in religion. Now she's dying of cancer. Now she cannot talk, but a few months ago when she could talk, she told our devotee that she has one big regret in life, that she was never interested in religion. Because of no interest in religion, now that she is dying, she's totally unprepared. So this sutta tells us that our everyday mind is very important. Go to the next sutta, another very important sutta, called the Sarakani Sutta, 55.24, at Kapilavatthu again. Now on that occasion, Sarakani the Sakyan had died, and the Blessed One had declared him to be a stream enterer, Sotapanna, no longer bound to the nether world, fixed in destiny, with enlightenment as his destination. Thereupon, a number of Sakyans, having met and assembled, deplored this, grumbled and complained about it, saying, "It is wonderful indeed, sir. It is amazing indeed, sir. Now who here won't be a stream enterer when the Blessed One has declared Sarakani the Sakyan, after he died, to be a stream enterer, with enlightenment as his destination?" Sarakani the Sakyan was too weak for the training. He drank intoxicating drink. Come here for a moment. So this Sarakani the Sakyan, he had been a drinker. He drinks liquor. So after he died, the Buddha said that he was a Sotapanna, gone for a good rebirth. And a lot of these Sakyans, they found it too difficult to believe. They thought the Buddha always talked about the 5 precepts. All lay people must keep the 5 precepts. And one of these 5 precepts is to refrain from taking intoxicants, including liquor. So they thought that he cannot even keep the 5 precepts. How can he go to heaven? How can he be an Arya? Then Mahanama, the Sakyan, approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him, sat down to one side and reported this matter to him. The Blessed One said, "Mahanama, when a lay follower has gone for refuge over a long time to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, how could he go to the nether world? For if one speaking rightly were to say of anyone, he was a lay follower who had gone for refuge over a long time to the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, it is of Sarakani the Sakyan that one could rightly say this. Mahanama, Sarakani the Sakyan had gone for refuge over a long time to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. So how could he go to the nether world? Here, Mahanama, some person possesses confirmed confidence in the Buddha. That means unshakable faith in the Buddha. And in the Dhamma and the Sangha. He is one of joyous wisdom, of swift wisdom, and he has attained liberation. By the destruction of the asavas in this very life, he enters and dwells in the taintless liberation by mind, liberation by wisdom, realizing it for himself with direct knowledge. This person, Mahanama, is freed from hell, the animal realm, and the domain of ghosts, free from the plane of misery, the bad destinations, the netherworld. The Buddha mentions the netherworld, he refers to the three woeful planes of rebirth, the ghost realm, the animal and the hell realm. Here Mahanama, some person possesses confirmed confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. He is one of joyous wisdom, of swift wisdom, yet he has not attained liberation. With the utter destruction of the five lower fetters, he becomes one of spontaneous birth, due to attain Nibbana there, without returning from that world. This person too, Mahanama, is freed from hell, the animal realm and the domain of ghosts, freed from the plane of misery, the bad destinations, the netherworld. This second type of Arya is the Anagamin. Here Mahanama, some person possesses confirmed confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. He is not one of joyous wisdom, nor of swift wisdom, and he has not attained liberation. The utter destruction of three fetters, and with the diminishing of greed, hatred and delusion, he is a once returner, who after coming back to this world only one more time, will make an end to suffering. This person too, Mahanama, is free from hell, the animal realm, and the domain of ghosts, free from the plane of misery, the bad destinations, the netherworld. Stop here for a moment. So here you see the description of the Sakadagamin, the second fruition Arya. He does not possess joyous wisdom or swift wisdom. Why? Because the Sakadagamin does not have perfect samadhi. Perfect samadhi in the Buddha's teachings refers to the four jhanas. When a person possesses four jhanas, his wisdom is deep. He's of joyous wisdom, swift wisdom. So you see the Anagamin and the Arahan, they have joyous wisdom and swift wisdom. Joyous wisdom and swift wisdom, I think, is Hasapanya and Javanapanya. So the Sakadagamin, he may have one jhana, two jhanas, three jhanas, but because he does not possess four jhanas, he does not have joyous wisdom or swift wisdom. And that's the difference. Then the Buddha continues. Here Mahanama, some person possesses confirmed confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. He is not one of joyous wisdom, nor of swift wisdom, and he has not attained liberation. With the utter destruction of three fetters, he is a stream enterer, Sotapanna, no longer bound to the netherworld, fixed in destiny, with enlightenment as his destination. This person too, Mahanama, is freed from hell, the animal realm, and the domain of ghosts, freed from the plane of misery, the bad destinations, the netherworld. Here, Mahanama, some person does not possess confirmed confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. He is not one of joyous wisdom, nor of swift wisdom, and he has not attained liberation. However, he has these five things, the faculty of faith, energy, recollection, concentration and wisdom. And the teachings proclaimed by the Tathagata are accepted by him after being pondered to a sufficient degree with wisdom. This person too, Mahanama, is one who does not go to hell, the animal realm or the domain of ghosts, to the plane of misery, the bad destination, the netherworld. Here, Mahanama, some person does not possess confirmed confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. He is not one of joyous wisdom, nor of swift wisdom, and he has not attained liberation. However, he has these five things, the faculty of faith, energy, recollection, concentration and wisdom. And he has sufficient faith in the Tathagata, sufficient devotion to him. This person too, Mahanama, is one who does not go to hell, the animal realm or the domain of ghosts, to the plane of misery, the bad destinations, the netherworld. Stop here for a moment. These last two, they are also Arya. They are called Dhammanusari and Saddhanusari, and they refer to the first path attainer. The first path attainer, you see here, he does not possess unshakable faith in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. He is new to the Dhamma. He has just learned the Dhamma, has understood the Dhamma to a sufficient degree. So because of that, the first one, because he is compared to the second one, the first one, the emphasis is more on understanding of the Dhamma. The second one, he also has some understanding of the Dhamma, and his faith is stronger. That's why he's called the Saddhanusari. You see, for a person to become an Arya, he must have right view. So these two persons must have right view. That means they have heard the Dhamma and understood the basic teachings about the Four Noble Truths. That's why they have become Arya. They won't be reborn into the woeful plains of rebirth. However, they do not have unshakable faith in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha yet. But it doesn't matter, because in the suttas, the Buddha says, in the same lifetime, this person must become a Sotapanna. It's only a matter of time. It's not like the Abhidhamma says immediately he will become a Sotapanna. No. It takes some time for him to understand deeper the Buddha's teachings, and then he has unshakable faith in the Buddha and Dhamma and Sangha. When he has unshakable faith in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha and becomes a Sotapanna, the three fetters are eliminated. At the stage of the first path attainer, they have not eliminated any fetter yet. They just have the understanding, they just have attained the right view. So they have just come into the Noble Eightfold Path. It takes some time to deepen the understanding and then become a Sotapanna. And then lastly, the Buddha said, even if these great Sala trees, Mahanama, could understand what is well spoken and what is badly spoken, then I would declare these great Sala trees to be stream enterers, no longer bound to the netherworld, fixed in destiny, with enlightenment as their destination. How much more then Sarakani the Sakyan? Mahanama, Sarakani the Sakyan undertook the training at the time of his death. That's the end of the sutta. So here, this last part is very important. The Buddha says, even the trees, if they can differentiate between what is well spoken and what is badly spoken, and if they heard the Dhamma, the Buddha's teachings, even trees also can become Sotapanna. How can a human not become a Sotapanna from listening to the Dhamma? So what is important here is that, what is implied here is that to become a Sotapanna, you have to listen to the Dhamma. It is not from meditation. If it is Sotapanna is to be attained by meditation, the Buddha would have said, if I taught these trees to meditate, even they can become Sotapanna. But the Buddha did not say that. The Buddha said, if they can understand, in other words, they can understand the Dhamma. So this is a very important point. A lot of people, because they don't study the suttas, they think that becoming a Sotapanna is by meditation, but actually it is by listening to the Dhamma. The other thing is, the Buddha says, if a person has taken refuge for a long time with the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, he cannot be reborn in the woeful plains of destination. What is meant here is that he has learned the Dhamma, has gone for refuge over a long time, has learned the Dhamma for a long time. Yes, if he has learned the Dhamma for a long time, if he has associated with Aryans, then he would have learned the Aryan Dhamma. And after learning the Aryan Dhamma, he would have put it into practice. And so it's natural that he will go for a good rebirth. So the most important point of this sutta is that Sotapanna is attained by listening to the Dhamma and understanding, not just by meditation. But meditation can help, because if we meditate, we focus the mind, and if the mind is focused, then when we listen to the Dhamma, it's easier to understand